What's going on? Right now I'm heading to actually pick up another Craigslist deal. And this one, you know, I saw it and it kind of looked like bullshit, to be honest with you. With the fake picture and all, and you know, the quality of games there, I kind of figured that this would be scooped up immediately, but maybe the price scared away some cats. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to attempt to film it while I'm there. I don't know how I'm going to do that without showing that I have an iPhone. Either way, I'll kick the shit out of this guy if he attempts anything. So, alright, wish me luck, and I'll see you in a few. Alright, I'm here. I don't see this dude anywhere, so let's see what's up. How you doing? What's going on, man? Good to meet you.
Didn't get lost, huh?
No, I didn't, but it took me longer, so
So what do you do for a job?
I teach, actually, in the mornings. But,
That's it.
yeah. So what's up, you don't play it anymore, or?
No. I'm actually getting into the handheld stuff, really.
Okay.
So, I mean, I still have my Super Nintendo. I play that.
Nice.
So I bring it to my nephew's place, so
Nice.
I keep that for them at least. That.
Did you get a lot of inquiries about this, or?
Couple.
Yeah.
One guy was a joker, you know.
That's what Craigslist is, man.
Yeah.
Assholes all over the place. Welcome back, YouTube! Alright, so the deal took place about 45 minutes from my house. He finally showed up. You know, I didn't notice him at first, but turned out the guy was actually a cool guy. You know, he was a little apprehensive. He definitely noticed that I had an iPhone sitting out trying to record it, so he definitely knew something was up, but so I had to stop recording there. But I paid $170 for everything that you see here. Now, before I made the deal, I consulted a couple of good buddies of mine on Facebook in a group that I'm in. Namely, I think it was Cyphic, Cobra DVS, RRob78. I think even Messy Video Game Nerd, 8-Bit Eric got involved in the in some of the analyzation of whether or not I should have bought the deal or whatever, made the deal. So they definitely helped me out. A big shout out to those guys for helping me out for this deal here. Now, $170 is definitely more than I'm usually willing to pay for a Craigslist deal. Certainly, there's a couple of cool games in here, and something major that I've been looking for years. Let's get it started. Tetris. I think everybody's played this game on the planet. Maybe somewhere in Bangladesh I haven't played that game. Elevator Action. Now this is a game that I played for, I played this in the arcade actually, from what I remember. I don't remember for the NES that well. Super Mario 3, good condition, comes with a sleeve. Dr. Mario, fun game, definitely like this game more than Tetris. Certainly it's in great condition. This guy kept his carts in excellent condition. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, a game that I've never played, no idea. Somewhat uncommon game, I believe. I've never seen it for the Nintendo, and I've actually tried it. It is Prince of Persia. Now, I've played this game on almost every port possible. I played it on the PC, the original. Then I think I had it for the Sega CD when I returned it to Babbage's. And now I've played it on the NES, and it's actually pretty good. The animations are pretty good. There's a lack of colors, but it's still actually pretty good. Joe and Mac. Here's a game that I got for the Genesis, maybe a couple of summers ago for G-Sailing. Cool two-player game, platformer, side-scroller. I think I remember this from the arcade, but this is a late release, you can tell by the label on the back. Joe and Mac, pretty cool two-player game. If you got a buddy, definitely give it a shot. Donkey Kong Classics. Here's a game that I had for the Genesis early on. I want to say maybe a year after I got the Jenny, and it was awesome. and I've never played this version of it. I assume that it's, a weaker version. Probably some cool tunes in it though, and it is the Immortal for the Nintendo. This is made by Electronic Arts actually for the Nintendo. So, I've seen some gameplay footage of it. Really cool game. If you have not given this game a shot and you have it, make sure you give it a try. A cool adventure game. You control this old wizard, but he definitely kicks ass. And you fight orcs and goblins and all kinds of different enemies. And you use all different types of spells, and it's a tough game, very tough game, but excellent. Rocketeer. Now, the movie sucked. I was not a fan of the movie. For those of you who are fans of the movie, my apologies. I did not like this movie, but the Rocketeer, I assume this is again another uncommon game. I've never seen it before. I have not played this game yet. I don't know what it's like. But if it's like the movie, I'm sure it sucks. Classic, one of my favorite games of all time, Contra. For some reason he had two King's Quest Vs. King's Quest V was a game that I had for the PC. Now I had a internal sound card, so it made beeps and other noises like that. So I didn't have any of the voice acting that some of you guys had if you had this game growing up.
My castle? What has happened? Ooh, it was the powerful and evil wizard Mordak who did it. Ooh, I just happened to be visiting with an old friend when I saw him materialize out of thin air.
And I'm glad I didn't, because the owl in this game sounds like he's a fucking annoying character. I saw JonTron do a review of this game with that annoying guy, the annoying owl. So, I don't know, I've never tried it for the NES. It's made by Konami. I assume it's probably pretty decent, but yeah, I got 2 copies. PM me if you're interested in one of them, maybe we can work out a trade. Awesome game, Shadow of the Ninja, very underrated game. I didn't know what this was. It's made by Natsume. I didn't know what this was until I popped it in and gave it a whirl, and it's an excellent, classic NES platforming, side-scrolling game. Very cool. A couple of different characters. I believe there's a couple of different characters, different weapons. Awesome game. Check it out if you can get a hold of it. I don't believe it's very expensive. Classic Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I've never beaten Tyson. I've knocked him down a few times, but I've never beaten Tyson. One day I'll fucking beat Tyson. Here's a game that I also played in the arcade. I remember this game specifically from the arcade because the graphics are cool and you can play 2 players. And it might have been next to Shinobi and Timeout, for those of you who know Timeout. And it's Rolling Thunder. Cool game, 2-player game. I don't know if it's 2-player on the NES. I don't remember that well. But again, side scroller. I think there's only 2 different types of weapons, plus you have bombs. Cool game, not bad. Russian Attack. A game that I played in the arcade at a pizza place all the time. It was a quarter. Cool graphics, side scroller, made by Konami, great music. Definitely check it out if you haven't had a chance yet. And now we get into the trilogies. He had almost all the trilogies for the NES in terms of the major trilogies. The first one is RoboCop, the trilogy of RoboCop. Now these games are made by Data East. Now, I remember RoboCop from the arcade, specifically, playing other arcade games and hearing RoboCop say "Drop it" over and over and over again. But the graphics for that arcade game was mind-blowing. I remember being pretty blown away by the graphics from the arcade game. And then, I played the Nintendo one, and it's good, it's decent. It's decent. This is a decent game, it's not great. But I can honestly tell you that I've never played RoboCop 2 or 3, so I have no idea how these games are. And the third one's made by Ocean, so I have no idea how that is. Let me know. You tell me. The Pac-Man trilogy by Tengen. So you got Pac-Man, you got Miss Pac-Man, which is probably my favorite of all of them, and Pac-Mania, a game that I've never played. I don't know what this one's all about. It does have the Blockbuster sticker on the back, those fuckers. But again, it almost looks like he's giving the middle finger right there. Never played Pac-Mania. I'll have to give it a shot. Another excellent trilogy. You got the Ninja. I used to call it Gaiden when I was growing up, but I guess it's Ninja Gaiden. Awesome trilogy. I played the shit out of the first one. Second one is relatively new to me, and the third one I have not even tried yet. Now, these games, of course, are legendary for their difficulty, but Tecmo really made some excellent music for these games. Now, with regards to Ninja Gaiden, I played this game in the arcade at, I want to say, Child World or Models or something like that. They had arcade games there. And I remember playing the original Ninja Gaiden for the arcade, which was totally different than the Nintendo one, for those of you who didn't know that. But one of the best games on the system. I'm glad to have the trilogy. Check them out if you haven't had a chance. Teenage Mutant Ninja fucking Turtles! Hell yeah, man. Happy to get the trilogy here. I did not have the Manhattan Project yet. At least I don't think I did. But certainly one of the coolest trilogies for the NES. Of course, I don't have the fighting one, tournament fighting, Turtles one, but in my humble opinion, this game sucks. I'm not a fan of this game, but the second one I played the hell out of with friends. Didn't match up to the arcade that well, but great game, stands on its own for the NES. And the third one is, I believe, just like the second one, late release. Awesome games. Happy to have them. Double Dragon for the Nintendo. Now, Double Dragon 1, totally different than the arcade. Most of you probably already know this, but the music in this game is top notch. Maybe some of the best music for the system. Same thing with the second one, some of the best music for the system. And this one gets a bad rap. The second one gets a bad rap. I think it's pretty good. Definitely a cool two-player game, which the first one was lacking. And you know what? To be honest with you, I've never played the third one. I've heard mixed reviews about it. It looks decent, but you get more than, two characters. You get more than Billy and Jimmy, or Bimmy and Jimmy. But certainly the first one is cool. Now, I had the Sega Master System growing up. I played that Double Dragon for Sega, of course. That had two players and was just like the arcade. Very underrated. A lot of people hate that one. I love that game. But this one's cool too. Happy to have this. Castlevania. All three Castlevanias here. Now, I played the shit out of the first one. Again, played the hell out of the first one. Didn't play the second one so much. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever played Castlevania 3. And it's something that's going to change in the future. Certainly. Again, a consistent theme through all these is that these games have awesome music. The NES, I'm a Sega mark, but the NES had some great music, and certainly these games are no slouch. The only thing I don't like about Castlevania is that, Belmont tends to walk a little too slow for my tastes, especially for a side-scroller. But that being said, the game is spectacular. The backgrounds, the graphics. Certainly, I'm sure all of you have played these games, but again, I'm happy to get the three of them. Now, this isn't a trilogy, but it's two games that stand on its own. Certainly, Batman by Sunsoft. Graphics are great, very difficult. Again, some of the best music on the Nintendo for this game. And Batman Returns. This is a game I've never played, actually. I had this game for the Lynx, the Atari Lynx, and I've never made it past the second level in the Atari Lynx. So if this game is anything like that, then it's fucking ridiculously hard. This game is very cool for the Super Nintendo. It's a beat 'em up for the Super Nintendo, but I've never played this version, so I'm not sure. Again, if you haven't played this Batman, make sure you find it. It's not that expensive. Very cool game. Here's a game that you don't see too often. Unfortunately, is a little label damage, but a very cool port or edition of Battletoads Double Dragon. I have this game for the Genesis. And I've played it now for the NES, and I can honestly tell you that I like the NES one better, the music better, just because Battletoads and Double Dragon, they just have that feel. They have that, it feels better on a Nintendo. Made by Trade West, has a classic NES soundtrack for it. If you could track it down for this system, make sure you get it. If you had to get it for any one of them, I would say the Nintendo would be the best one. You know, I've seen the Super Nintendo one. Get it for the Nintendo if you can. When I saw this game in his ad, I definitely called him immediately or emailed him immediately. This certainly was the game that put everything over the top, and I made sure I was definitely going to get this deal. But it is an excellent condition of Mighty Final Fight. Very difficult game to find, and it's the baby version of the arcade. You can level up in this game. You have the choice of all 3 characters. I played it. I made it about 3-4 levels in it. It's a cool game. It's by no means it's one of the best beat 'em up / side-scrolling adventure game you'll ever play, but certainly I dug this game. Is it worth the $70-80 that it's going for? Absolutely not. But if you find it cheap, pick it up. Definitely give it a shot. It's a cool game, but I dug it, but it wasn't one of the best games I've ever played. Certainly give it a shot. I was a big fan of Final Fight in the arcade. I played the shit out of that game, whether it be timeout, whether it be rest stops on the way down to Virginia, or wherever we were going as a family. I remember in New Jersey there were rest stops that had arcade games. One of them was the arm wrestling one. For those of you who remember that one. But yeah, Final Fight. I used Hagar all the time, man. And last, but certainly not least,